We're underneath the hood of a 1969 Camaro, a real X11 car. This particular vehicle is a complete redo. Very, very special car here. And it has an LS1 engine in it. It appears to be very fresh. The aluminum is nice and shiny and fresh looking on it. Doesn't look like it was something that was used for a long period of time. It's coupled to a 6-speed transmission, so basically what you have here is a C5 Corvette in a Camaro shell. A K&N filter in the front. Looks like it has a larger throttle body unit also in the front. Air conditioning. It does have the provision for heat for the passenger compartment, which is not hooked up now. It's a Florida vehicle, but the hoses are here and they're capable of being hooked up to the engine to provide heat for the passenger compartment if someone would buy it in a colder climate. Power steering, power disc brakes, dual stage master cylinder. You can see all new stainless lines on it, new proportioning valve. The serpentine system in the front is really nice. There are some billet aluminum components on it. The tensioners, dual horns in the front, fresh radiator hoses top and bottom. Appears to be a new windshield wiper motor on it. Huge high capacity radiator, aluminum in the front of this guy. And it does have an overflow bottle also with it. You can't see it, but this thing, and we'll show it to you on the undercarriage, but looking down into it, you'll see it from the pictures Devin takes of this engine. It has a coil-over double A-arm front suspension on this with adjustable shocks on it. Very high-end vehicle here. The inner fender panels are painted a gloss black as opposed to satin black the way they came from the factory. The hood is a cowl induction hood. It does have the sound deadener heat isolation material on it. Everything on this vehicle is very high-end. And again, the core support is even painted gloss black on it. Has an auxiliary pump on it also to help with the vacuum for the booster power brakes because of a little bit of cam in this guy. The engine is absolutely, totally leak-free. There's absolutely no leaks whatsoever on the valve pan covers or the front end of this engine. Absolutely none. It has a set of large tube ceramic coated long length headers on the vehicle also. This thing's probably making some serious horsepower. I'm going to guess somewhere around a 400 range. In the Corvettes with a stock cam, they were making 350. Actually, they were a little overachievers at that number even. But this thing is making some real horsepower. It's basically a Corvette driveline in a 69 Camaro convertible. Fantastic car. We're going to go around it and show you every little tiny minute thing that we can find on it. Hi, you're at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and we have another really special guest on the floor for you today. Take our time going around this guy because it has a lot to offer you. It's just not a standard old 69 Camaro. This thing has a lot of amenities to it. Very high-end vehicle. So let's go over it and see what kind of little marks and dingies or whatever we can find on it for you. This is not a driver quality paint job. This thing is absolute show quality. Thick as glass, or smooth as glass, thick as can be. The seams where the hood meets the fender, it's going to be about 1/8 of an inch the whole way around, and you can see that in Devin's video here. Whole way up to the cowl area. It is a cowl induction hood. It does have LS1 designation on both sides of the cowl induction scoop, because that's what it is. This guy is an LS1. Camaro designation on the front. Header panel, no marks, no dingies, no scuffs whatsoever. RS. It's also an RS model. You know, it gives it a lot of pizzazz there. Peekaboo headlights. Plastic on the grills, undisrupted. RS designation in the front. Filler panel just as nice as can possibly be. Nice fitment. Really nice fitment. Bumper. It is absolutely spot on. Both sides are just exactly where they need to be on that vehicle. Car's been lowered. It has a completely different suspension system, which you'll see in our undercarriage presentation. It does have a front spoiler. It has nice, clean, clear parking lamps in the front. Front pan doesn't have any marks or chips or anything whatsoever on it. The front end of this car is just exemplary. It's one of these vehicles that honestly you can't find anything to pick at. The paint is just so deep and so thick on this car, it just absolutely grabs your eyes when you take a look at it. Everything is linear in the front end of the car. The fitment of the hood, you can see, is just spot on. So is the bumper. So the RS package with the peekaboo headlights. Fantastic nose on this guy. Let's go down to the driver's side, see if we can show you something there. Okay, driver's side. You see the car has been lowered. 69 style striping for an SS car. Where the fender meets the front valance, the front panel, just as clean and nice and fit as you'd want. Wheel lip molding, no dinghies or dents on it whatsoever. Rally Sport designation. Windshield wiper arms and blades, correct for the year of the car. They're argent, just the way they should be, both of them. Tinted windshield in the front with the sunshade fade on top of it. Normally these are painted black to match the interior. For whatever reason, they chose to make this front of the dash yellow to match the outside of the car. It doesn't detract from its appearance. Actually, it adds a little bit of pizzazz to it. New padded dash on it. There's no cracks or marks or deviations whatsoever in it. Crystal clear the whole way where the middle part of the dash, which is now painted yellow, transitions to the base of the windshield. Absolutely flawless. Just like the day it was made in 1969. Nice legible VIN number on it. All polished stainless around the front window, and no marks on it whatsoever. Convertible, obviously. Brand new top on it. The top, I believe, is absolutely new. Whenever this car was done, they put a brand new top on it with new pads also. Tinted glass to the side. You can see the side window to the rear. Very, very nice fitment. Wipes whiskers with the rubber where it transitions onto the door and the quarter panel. Just really, really nice, fresh, brand new. Door handles, also new chrome on them. I never saw a mirror like this. This is a different style mirror. But they do have one on the other side to match. And it is a remote adjust from what I can see. Front fender to door. Wow, this thing feels like silk whenever I'm running my hands over it. Just as smooth as can possibly be. Look at the fitment of this thing. We got another one that's spot on. I can't believe it. About the last half dozen of these that I've done, any cars, not just Camaros, other ones, the fitment has been very, very precise. And this guy is that way. Front fender to door, door to the quarter, rocker panel molding, very, very nice. I don't see any dents or heel marks or anything on it. No patina on this chrome, these chrome slats right here. Usually these are eaten up a little bit, the chrome finish on them. This is not. It's absolutely like new. Again, the wheel lip molding, no dinghies, no marks. Tin. No Bondo anywhere on this guy. Stainless trim around the base of the convertible top. New well in it also. The vinyl well that is put on with these guys when you put the top down. Usually this is deteriorated. That top is absolutely brand new, and so is the well that houses it. No marks whatsoever on the plastic window in the back. Stretched just as nice and tight as should be. Looks like a real piece of glass instead of plastic. Very, very nice fit. The paint on this car is just unbelievable. It's like silk. I mean, the finish is absolutely stunning. 17-inch rally wheels, short caps in the center. Good looking wheel for the car. It gives it a nice retro look. Back to 1969, you know, with the rally wheels that would have come on it, only certainly with huge rubber as opposed to the E or F tires that this guy would have come with when it was new. It's a fantastic looking wheel, but it is a 17-inch, much larger than the 14s or 15s that these cars were available with in 1969. Down the side of this car is just as straight as you'll ever find one, absolutely laser straight. There's not an imperfection. We just went over the front end, we went over the side. I couldn't find a single stone chip or a mark, a deviation, a fitment problem, absolutely nothing. Check out back here, see if we can find something for you there. Okay, the rear of our 1969 RS Camaro convertible. The rear deck's just like the hood. Fitment is absolutely spot on. You can see the entire perimeter of this deck has about 1/8 of an inch or so the whole way around it. Spoiler fitment is very, very, very nice on it. A little bit of roughness right here. It's been brush touched. Something must have scuffed this and they brush touched. It's certainly nothing that needs repainted, but I'm just telling you there is a little brush touch right on the edge of this spoiler right here. Other than that, the fitment of the spoiler is spot on. LS1 designation, RS, and always just looking at it real quickly. Whenever you see backup lights underneath the back bumper on any of these Camaros, it's very indicative of an RS car. That's the way they came. It did not have the backup lights integral with the tail light assemblies. Rear bumper, same as the front one. Bumper guards on the back of this, RS designation. Rear valance has no pulls whatsoever. And these are the optional bumper guards that would have come in 1969 as an option with the car. Very few of these cars had them, but this guy does. The back end of this car is just the way the front and the driver's side was. There's not a single thing out of place, not a fitment problem. Only slight imperfection I detected was this little brush touch here, which obviously you're not going to paint something for a brush touch. And the back end of this car is just spot on. One more side to go. Okay, passenger side, our last side, and then we got ourselves a kind of flawless little Camaro here. Again, the paint on this thing, I cannot believe how this feels. Jeez, man, it's just like so. Again, tin. Trim around the base of the convertible top, same as the other side. No marks, no dents, no dinghies in it whatsoever. Wheel with molding. No door dents in it whatsoever. These slats the same way as the other side. Again, the fitment, front window to back, very, very nice, especially convertible. It's hard to get these things to fit perfect, but this is about as good as they do get on convertibles. Whether it's a Camaro or a Cuda or whatever it may be. And this door here could go in just a hair. It can be adjusted in just a little tiny bit. Certainly well within production standards, but we'll probably give it a little tweak. White whiskers, brand new on this side, just the way they are on the other side. A somewhat matching mirror to that one. That one is remote, this one is not. Trim around the front window the same way. Convertible top piece is loose. This has to go over the Dale and have him staple it back on. See? That has to go. Get stapled. Tight on that side. Somebody missed it on this side. Look at the fitment of this thing. Unbelievable. Rally Sport designation. No heel marks on the rocker panel molding on this guy either, on this side. Trim around the front window, side marker lights, stripes, everything just the way it should be. And we're back where we started, up at the nose of this guy. 69 Camaro, one of everyone's favorite cars. 69 is absolutely the epitome of the Camaro production. Everyone seems to like it better than any of the other years. 67, 8, 70, 71. After that, no one cared. This is just an exemplary car. It's done with a Corvette driveline in it. The way it's put together is just a show quality vehicle. The paint is just a foot deep looking at it anyway. Quality, fit, finish, a couple little imperfections that we have to address. The convertible top bead needs to be stapled back on a little better. We're going to tweak that door just a little tiny bit to pull it in some. Other than that, this thing's a real superstar. It's a car that you're not going to find a duplicate of. You'll find some close, but not going to be exactly what this thing is. It also has a 6-speed transmission from a Corvette in it. It's yellow, obviously. Houndstooth interior, black top, 17-inch rally style wheels. It's just an absolute diamond of a car. It's available here at Hangsters in Daytona Beach. And if you can come down, please come down and take a look at this car. I'd love to show it to you in person. I'd like to put it up on a rack, take it out, drive it, so you can see all the amenities that this thing has to offer you. Okay, interior of our 1969 Camaro RSSS style car. Fantastic piece of equipment. Smells absolutely brand new in here. Again, a new top on it, new liner, new pads. The framework has been all taken out and painted semi-flat black just the way it should. New bows, attachments on it. The interior in the car is all brand new houndstooth and very, very well padded up just the way it should have been. A lot of guys don't take the time to pad these. They just put covers on them and go with that. That's not the case here. Also, the interior lights are functioning the way they should. And if you notice, the kick panels have an enclosure for the speakers on them also. Really a nice high-end set of kick panels in this vehicle. It has a set of custom gauges in it. Speedometer, tach, and a quadrant of gauges for the engine. Oil pressure, temp, amp, and fuel. It has a tilt wheel also. SS style steering wheel with the split spokes on it, brushed stainless the way they are from the factory. Air conditioning vents just the way they should be on the sides and in the center. The side panels in the back and armrests are just as fresh and new as you could possibly hope for. The boot area where the top goes down around the sides where your actuating arms are, where it's usually ripped or torn or distressed, these are absolutely brand new. Window cranks front and rear are new. You can see that. Camaro designation on it, new door pulls on it. All the chrome on this thing is new everywhere. Center console with, check this out, 6-speed shifter. And not only does it have it on the shift ball, the 6-speed pattern, it also has a 6-speed pattern on the console itself, where normally there would be a 4-speed pattern. Someone has taken the time to buy the correct pattern designation on it. Seat belts in the rear and in the front of this thing. Loop carpeting just the way it would be in 1969. Everything in this vehicle is as it was in 69 with the addition of the gauges, the engine, the transmission, a few oddball things that were added to this to enhance the quality of the vehicle. The mirror itself, there's no milkiness whatsoever to it. It is the metal-sided mirror. The correct one that came with it, day-night also. Again, the sun visors, there's no stitching coming loose. They're absolutely like they were when they were new. The door sill, aluminum, correct GM parts, nice and shiny and fresh just like they should be. All the rubbers on this car have been replaced in nice, resilient, fresh rubbers. Even inside the door, everything is just as clean and fresh as you would hope to find in a brand new car. Grab rail in the front, wood on the console and the dashboard to accentuate the interior in this car. This thing is really an over-the-top vehicle. The more I look at it, the more I'm impressed with it. No one's hacked the dash up to put an aftermarket radio in it. It has a GM-style radio in it with a tape player. I can't see a single thing in this car on the outside or the inside that would deter anybody from writing a check for this guy. It's as nice a Camaro as you're ever going to find. You got a modern driveline, It's a vehicle you really should take a look at. It's here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's going to be up on the site today with a whole slew of photos. Devin and I are going to go for a ride in it. You're going to have a whole lot of pictures to take a look at, because this is a vehicle that needs a little consideration if you're in the market for a Camaro. It's a very special car. Got this really, really neat Camaro. Tilt wheel. No horn. Right there anyway. I don't see one anywhere. So anyway, we got to fix the horn. Let me see what else I can find. Wipers function as they should. We have a, I don't know where it is, but there's a left turn signal. There's no indicators inside the car because it has a custom dashboard, but I'm sure they're functioning on the outside. 3/4 of a tank, the fuel gauge. Volts are running 13 point something, just where they should. Tach is working just like it should. Of course, we're not moving, so speedometer's not going to. Water temperature's just starting to come up. It's about 130, 140 degrees. Oil pressure's up about 50 pounds at an idle. 48 pounds at an idle. It's about right. Aftermarket GM radio. I don't know if it works or not. I don't even know how to turn it on. That's Devin's department. Anyway, let's see. Air conditioning. Blowing cold, just like it should. Okay, cruise control. How about that? It's got cruise control. I didn't notice that before. Remote mirror. Let's go for a ride. See how this guy performs. A great car. I really like this thing. Nice running car. Just gave it a little squirt. It's a 6-speed. You can cruise all day. Nice car. Very, very nice Camaro. Straight as an arrow vehicle. Look at this. Very responsive steering. I mean, incredibly responsive. You got to be real on your game to make sure you don't twitch this wheel. The brakes are also incredible on this thing. These wheel-width brakes really give it a punch and stop and power. Nice sound of the exhaust. It's not objectionably loud. Has a real nice, deep, throaty tone to it. Real nice. I like this car. This is really a nice car. Jesus. This would be a great summer toy for somebody. We're underneath our 1969 Camaro. SS style car. It's yellow. Black convertible top, houndstooth interior, and the undercarriage of this thing is going to take us a while to go through, so I guess we better get started. I don't even know where to start. We'll start in the front, but it has a custom fabricated subframe assembly on it that incorporates the engine cradle for the mounting, has a set of drop double A-arm spindles and A-arms for the front, double adjustable shock absorbers, clicker shocks with a adjustment for the spring tension, rack and pinion steering, front anti-sway bar incorporated into it with Heim joints on it so that it is adjustable, billet aluminum blocks with polyurethane fittings on them, high torque starter. This is an LS motor, LS1 engine in this vehicle, so that's the reason for the subframe mount. 1 3/4, I'm going to call them. Ceramic coated headers, 6-speed Corvette transmission in it, 3-inch collectors going into 2.5-inch stainless steel pipes. Again, the shocks up front are double adjustable shocks, pure race car stuff, what you would expect to find on a Ferrari or a Porsche. That's what we got. Disc brakes in the front, braided stainless lines, wheel-wood brakes front and rear in this, and they are disc front and rear, but they are wheel-wood brakes. Everything is new. The ball joints, the spindles, tie rod ends, everything on this thing is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Huge aluminum radiator that you can see from underneath. You're not going to see it from the video, but I'm pointing it out. It is absolutely huge. At least a 4-pass high flow radiator. Wheel well, absolutely perfect. No marks, no jack marks or anything on them. The floorboards themselves are the original floor pans. I don't see where they've been molested or modified in any way. Geez, there's so many things on this, I don't even know where to start and where to stop. You can see all the billet aluminum mounting points for your sway bar, stainless steel brake lines, and again braided stainless flex lines for the software for the front brakes. A set of subframe connectors that connects the custom built entire subframe assembly and cradle for the engine to the rear subframes, which are also a special manufacturer from what I can see. Stainless steel brake lines continuing toward the back. Again, I'm going to call it is a stainless steel fuel line. 2.5-inch stainless pipes, 2.5-inch stainless mufflers to go with them. New drive shaft, new U-joints on each end of the drive shaft, front and back. You can see there's no leaks on the engine, transmission, or the tail shaft. Absolutely none. This thing is totally leak-free. I don't know how long it'll stay that way, but for this point it is absolutely leak-free. Floor pans in the back. Again, no one's made any attempt to jack them up or distort the subframe bracing on it. It does have the tie-in part that connects the two structurally stronger on a convertible floor pans together. And that's what they've incorporated here with a cutout custom connector between the two. Also, your 2.5-inch pipes are the X-pipe design. Basically the same thing as a crossover pipe, but it's a little more efficient. It does have an X-pipe design to aid the flow, the exhaust flow. Oh my God, this thing is, everywhere you look there's fabrication. The subframes, the actual Chevrolet subframes in the back have some structural reinforcements in them. It has a Hotchkiss rear suspension in it, 9-inch heavy-duty Ford rear in it, posi, Heim joints on the adjustable links on the rear suspension, the Hotchkiss suspension. Again, Willwood brakes in the back, new rotors, new calipers, and again braided hardware for it. Does have a functional parking brake. How about that? Usually when you get discs in the back, you don't have the option to have a parking brake. This guy does have a functional parking brake for the rear discs on this vehicle. Not only does it have a 4-link rear, it has, wow, it has an adjustable sway bar system that's incorporated into it. Has a panhard rod also. That's why the structural bracing for the subframe, now that I see it. Again, adjustable with the Heim ends on it. It has a sway bar system with billet aluminum links, arms that go into adjustable Heim ends. There's just again the adjustable coilover shocks in the rear, clicker shocks as there were in the front, so that you can adjust the jounce and the rebound on it. Stainless steel brake lines for the fuel system going toward the front, where it ties onto the electric fuel pump here, and then steel line from that point on. The exhaust, again, 2.25 dump down right behind the rear wheels, about, I don't know, 6-8 inches behind the rear wheels. I can't tell if it's stainless or aluminum, but I'm going to call it aluminum. It's an aluminum custom gas tank that's in this vehicle, and it has new stainless straps to hold it in place. The floor pans in this vehicle are totally undisrupted. They are the original floor pans. There's also a structural point across the top of the subframe where it transitions up over the rear axle to stiffen the entire framework of this assembly up. Drop downs in the quarters are absolutely the way they were in 1969 when it left the factory. The little drain plugs are missing in them. The little plastic pieces with the hole in the bottom are missing, but they are the original drop downs that are in the quarters of this car. There is absolutely nothing that I can see on this vehicle that doesn't reek money. Whoever did this vehicle as a project had to go by the century mark so much that he probably just quit counting the dollars he was putting into it. It was like he had to look at it and say, okay, how much money can I possibly spend on a 1969 Camaro? And that's what you got here. I can't see one aspect of this build that hasn't been addressed, both cosmetically and mechanically. I mean, we've got the best driveline that you can throw in one of these things, the best exhaust system, a solid body to begin with, all the structural reinforcements the way that you could put them. It's all pure race car stuff. The 4-link rear suspension, coil-over shocks, adjustable Johnson rebound on the compression. There is nothing on this vehicle that has not been addressed to the nth degree. Again, this thing is just counting dollars on it. Just a rough guess, 100 a quarter, 150. He had to have that much in this build, and you're not going to pay even close to that. You're not even going to pay half of that for this vehicle. So take a look at it. It's available here at Daytona Beach, at your Hangster's website, and it's something that you want a very special Camaro. This is something you better give some serious consideration to. Heck of a car.